What's going on, everybody? I am currently in Guam right now. But in any case, by the time you guys see this, I'll be back at home in the States. So today we're going to be tackling what is IO psychology up next. For the last 10 years, I've worked as a Special Forces boat operator for the U.S. Navy. I've worked in several countries around the world as a subject matter expert in building foreign relations, high-risk training, leadership, management, and team building. Throughout my career, I've been responsible for over $10 million worth of sensitive gear and equipment. And now, I'm taking my knowledge and training to the business world. I am the IO consultant. What's going on, everybody? I am currently on day 5 of quarantine out in Guam, which is why I'm not all fresh to death, but it's not too much to do around here, but sit back, relax, knock out work, have a beer. America. But with that being said, you're probably here right now because you're wondering what IO psychology is. Being anything like me, you've probably done the research, probably heard everything I'm getting ready to tell you, but you just want to hear from different people. So guess what? This is what I'm going to do because this is what I didn't find. I'm going to give you the book definition that is current as of this year. Oh my God, they just came by to do my COVID testing. They stuck a whole straw up my nose. And then I'm going to give you the layman's terms of what IO psychology is. All right, here you can see the book where I'm getting this information from. Right here in the first chapter, it says perhaps the best place to begin the textbook on IO psychology is to look at the field itself. Industrial organizational psychology is a branch of psychology that applies the principles of psychology to the workplace. The purpose of IO psychology is to enhance the dignity and performance of human beings in the organizations they work in by advancing the science and knowledge of human behavior. That's Rucci 2008. Just below that, there's another little statement that says IO psychology relies extensively on research, quantitative methods, and testing techniques. IO psychologists are trained to use empirical data and statistics rather than intuition to make decisions. So again, IO psychology is a really broad topic. That can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. It really just depends on the person that's applying the knowledge and your experience that you have and your attitude going into an organization. More than likely, you're going to be working on a team. If you can't work in teams, I don't know what to tell you. You need to learn how to work on teams. You need to learn how to actually be a reliable member on that team and contribute to a team environment. Unless you are doing some type of consulting, even then, you still may need to outsource to some type of team or have some type of basic communication and something that mimics a team to get the job done. Back to IO being broad, it really depends on what you're bringing with your education to that field, back with your experience. So some considerations about the field. These are things you need to be interested in before you go into IO psychology. You have to be interested in research. The field is heavily research driven. I personally like this field for that reason because the majority of the information that you're going to put out to people is tested or it's testable. You can literally go in, if you can ask a question, you can research it, period. In whatever organization you may be in. So that's what I like about it. You can go into an organization, find out what's going on, conduct the steps to get that hardcore evidence or that solid proof, that solid foundation of proof onto whatever data you bring up. And then after you interpret that data, you're not making anything up. You're saying, this is what you asked me to do, or this is what we thought of. Are you interested in this? Yes? Okay, cool. We researched it. This is the data we got back from your company, and this is what's going on. These are the numbers. These are the graphs, whatever. As you can see here from, time point A to time point B, such and such was on the rise, and this was on such and such was on the decline. Whatever those values are, but you get my point. Another thing with the IO psychology that you need to understand is that you are going to have to learn statistics and not have a somewhat general idea. You're going to have a pretty sophisticated understanding of statistics. If you understand that now and you're going into it, then you can prep yourself down the road. You can start getting the beginner's levels books and reading it and coming across it. That's what I did. I'm not a math guru, but I'm an adult, therefore I read ahead to see what was coming up and I prepped myself for it. So when I actually got to the class, it wasn't my first time seeing it. One thing you got to keep in mind, if you do decide to pursue this degree path, that once you get everything done, you knock out that pipeline, you get your degree, whether it be your master's degree or your PhD. At that point in time, you are now a subject matter expert in employee performance in the workplace. That's your bread and butter. You are a subject matter expert of employee performance in the workplace. You should be able to go into any organization and, if not provide the answer how to make employee performance better, give great suggestions on what to do to improve employee performance through scientific research, action research, scientific method, all these things that are going to provide data for you to implement change into that organization, or just implement better structure. It may not necessarily be change, it may not necessarily be structure, but you're going to be doing something that's going to make that performance better. Or hell, you could just be going in to take a survey and find out why motivation and morale is low. I mean, if you worked anywhere, chances are you've had a bad day. So coming in, you're going to have some experience in knowing what to look for. You just have to find a way to correlate that experience to what it is that you're doing. Take the knowledge that you're going to learn, making surveys, talking to people, collecting data, running those numbers, and then interpreting that data to give it back to whoever is asking for it. So these things are things that you would do as an IO psychologist. So with that being said, it's going to be up to you. You're going to, have to hold yourself accountable to maintaining that standard of following the trends and traits of what's going on in the industry, in the multiple industries, to where you can remain effective. All right, so I've given you the definitions. I've given you my overview of what IO psychology is. Go and do a little bit more research. Obviously, don't settle on this one thing. Go look and see what other people in the field have to say, people who have their PhDs. I highly recommend the IO Soapbox. That's who I was checking out. I don't know that woman's name, but she's awesome. Go check her out, get her definitions, get other people's definitions. Find out if this is something that you want to do. If you like what you're seeing here, make sure you click subscribe and hit that like button. I'm going to be pushing out content every week for you guys. Make sure you also ask your questions down in the comments box below, or you can DM me directly, and I'll get to those questions as soon as I can. With that being said, take this advice and information that I gave you, go out and be successful. No way you can fuck this up.